A flash of black wing, an evil raspy call, a darting glance, and an attack. They're the birds we moved in with. They adapted to us, but don't mess with the crow or the dive-bombing magpie. And don't take your eyes off that owl, because the butcherbird could still be close by. Their lilting song may hide their true intent, but they could be watching us in our backyards right now with the killer instinct of the urban birds of prey.
I'm here in the city to track down some high flyers, but it's not the killer instinct of big business that I'm after. Instead, I'm here after those other high flyers in the city that I call the urban birds of prey.
So, how tough could one of those little backyard Tweety birds be? These majestic birds of prey come equipped with an array of formidable weaponry. But as with most things in the animal world, it's not the size of the animal in the fight, but the size of the fight in the animal. Here, a scrub python is closing in on a flying fox high in the tree canopy. A little butcherbird lets the snake know he is not happy to share his tree with reptiles. This act of defensive aggression from the bird puts the snake off his stealthy hunt. The flying fox seems a little bewildered about becoming snake supper, but the butcherbird is undeterred and has, really, saved its life.
When most people hear the word bird of prey, they instantly think about eagles, falcons and hawks, the raptor family. This magnificent bird is a wedge-tailed eagle. It is the largest eagle in Australia and one of the largest eagles in the world. Now, when I talk about birds of prey, I mean any bird that eats any other animal for a living. And in our urban areas, there are a myriad of birds of prey. Best known, I would imagine, would be the kookaburra. Even your backyard chicken could be called a bird of prey. A couple of reasons why cities and suburbs are so good for birds is lots of green grass and water. Trees, flowers, in fact, everything in great quantity that a bird not only needs to survive, but to thrive.
Those majestic birds of prey see the city as something else.
Birds of prey like peregrine falcons and some of the other larger birds of prey, they treat the city, those big buildings, as just like a canyon and nest in the sides of on the cliffs, exactly like they would in the wild.
But we're concerned with the suburbs, where we find the greatest concentrations of the urban birds of prey. Sometimes it gets a little Alfred Hitchcock-like. And while some animals can't tolerate the encroachment of humans, these birds actually thrive because of it.
Now, what's enabled the urban birds of prey to not only survive but thrive has been the backyard. Now, that's enabled these little creatures, grasshoppers, and just about every other imaginable insect to not only survive but also thrive. It just comes down to excellent habitat. And they don't taste too bad either. Can understand why they eat them. They don't taste bad. Now, not only is it on top of the ground that there is an abundance of food, but also under the ground. And when the sprinklers are on or it rains, earthworms come to the top. And that'll be one of the mainstays of a lot of these birds. Now, these little critters are very nutritious also, and there's just billions of them down there.
Birds are intelligent creatures. Many, like this captive black-breasted buzzard, use tools. The smartest urban birds of prey are the corvids, like this fella. It's been described as the most annoying sound in the world. But it appears the cawing of the crow is far more than just incessant noise. Magpies have a more melodious song, but don't be taken in by all the sweet talk. At certain times of the year, these guys do a Jekyll and Hyde transformation, from this to this. Then Rob gets the lowdown on the wise owl, more like the cunning, secretive, amazingly equipped owl. Plus, how the butcherbird really got its name. Rob then takes us to the people who are these birds' best friends, daily performing miracles and rescues and operations and releases. It may be your backyard, but it's surrounded by some of the most audacious acts of treachery in the animal kingdom. Coming up, Rob journeys around the killing fields of the suburbs to hear the laugh of the kookaburra as it dive bombs its prey, and robs from others because it can. The first Australian bird of prey Rob comes across is one many Australians wake up to every morning. This cheerful dawn chorus is a fondly accepted Aussie alarm clock.
Now, these two little urban birds of prey are probably the best well known because of the noise they make. They're laughing kookaburras. They're also the world's largest kingfisher. Well represented in Hollywood movies, especially Tarzan movies. You always hear a kookaburra laughing in the back.
Listen, the jungle creatures are warning us.
An Australian bird in Africa, but the sound is so unique.
Kookaburras like the open woodlands, and they're common through eastern and southern Australia. Like most urban birds of prey, we've moved in next door to them. They share our suburbs. But just as we've made our presence known, that laughing call reminds us it was their home first. Kookaburras have excellent projection. This performance can be heard for a kilometre or about half a mile around the neighbourhood. And this is the main objective, to let everyone know that Territory Boss is home.
A little known fact about kookaburras is that when they nest, the female lays 3 eggs a day apart, and the last egg is usually smaller. They also hatch a day apart. And usually the third one is kicked out of the nest by its larger brothers and sisters. And both of these birds were a subject of that. In fact, they both came from different nests. When they were found, they were pink with their eyes closed. Now, these kookaburras, when they're born, are born with a hook on the end of their beak, which they lose as they get older. And that hook is specifically there for kicking out your brother. So life for a kookaburra in the wild isn't so special sometimes, especially for the last born.
These days, when it comes to finding a suitable nursery, many wildlife species have to get smart. Human progress has taken away many of the older growth trees that have safe hollows. Kookaburras will improvise and use the structures prefabricated by termites. A few modifications, and it's ready to provide shelter for the next brood. During spring and summer, the breeding begins. The kookaburra's hunting style can be seen here in the kooka's cousin, the Asia kingfisher, a style resembling a cougar or a leopard. From a branch with a good view, it will sit patiently waiting for the right moment to ambush a passing victim. To make this catch fit for consumption, it's put through the kookaburra preparation process. Large animals like this snake are bashed against a tree or a rock to kill and tenderize them. The Asia kingfisher lives up to his name, but he still employs an identical bash and grab technique the kookaburra uses on reptiles. The efficiency of the stalk and strike hunt is universal, and the kookaburra will use its good eyesight to locate his prey. In this case, a field mouse. The kooka times his swoop, and in the blink of an eye, even in slow motion, you can see the mouse is completely unaware of the fate from above. A close neighbour of the kooka, also with an efficient killing and survival method, is the butcherbird. Looking like a dumpy magpie, he has more than a few skeletons in his closet.
Even though the butcherbird looks like a small magpie, he hunts more like the kookaburra. The only difference is the kookaburra swallows his prey whole, where the butcherbird has to butcher it.
The butcherbird spends a little more time on the ground than the kookaburra to kill the prey. Satisfied this job is done, he carries the meal up into the trees. While butcherbirds are happy to share with some other species, they absolutely hate kookaburras. Large prey like this mouse has to be broken up into bite-sized pieces, and this is where the butcherbird gets its name. But that age-old feud raises its feathered head, and a swift kookaburra comes in to stake his claim like a lion stealing from a cheetah. The butcherbird, with that hooked and strong beak, lets his frustration known, but he's outclassed this time. The kooka gives a mocking laugh, affirming the king title in this species as the largest of the kingfishers. Coming up, the clever and cunning, a scary combination. Do these guys really hate humans? Ravens and crows have long been associated with the sinister, the dark side. Whether you agree with superstition that the call of the crow is sinister or not, everyone seems to agree it's probably the most annoying sound of the natural world. Rob caught up with Professor Darryl Jones, ornithologist, in the heart of the burbs.
So this is the area where people have left their homes because of the crows.
Can you believe that? Just because of crow noise. But here's a tree here. This very tree here is where crows come in very large numbers, make a heck of a lot of noise.
So if you're a light sleeper, you should check out the roosting trees before you buy.
Definitely.
The crow is the king of corvids, a family of birds that are considered to be the most intelligent of all. Annoying, but smart. So, why all the senseless noise?
Now the telltale signs of a roosting tree, big tree, lots of droppings on the ground, and the feathers. You can see crow feathers. And if you listen, you can hear them. Make a lot of noise, don't they?
They make noise all the time.
What's it made of, do you know?
Well, you know, to us it just sounds like ah. But you know, I've actually one of the things I've tried to understand is crow noise, and I've had to conclude after years of studying it that it really is a language. It's a really complicated language with words and sentences and lots of subtlety. You know, and it's continuous. These animals are communicating with each other all the time. In the middle of the night, they'll still talk to each other if they get disturbed, but especially when they arrive, and there's a whole bunch of new ones, all arriving together in the roost, and then especially before they go in the morning.
The Australian crow is generally disliked from north to south, not just for the raucous cawing, but for aggressive behaviour.
This is a crow roost tree, but these crows are special. They're city crows. Unlike their country cousins, they live by different rules. Now, about the only thing they have in common is because of their reputation, their colour and their habits, they don't have many friends. And we're going to find out why.
From householders to car dealers, crows find it very hard to make human friends.
Tend to fly in underneath the shade cloth, and for whatever reason attracted them, the rubbers here on your wipers, these here, and they pull them right out. Pull them right out, yes they do. Some will even attack the rubber around the windscreens.
You wouldn't think they could get it out, would you?
They wouldn't, but they were persistent.
The solution was not to permanently frighten off the crows, an impossible task anyway, but to erect a complex canopy to keep the car-chewing juvenile delinquents out.
Now, the reason these crows are a bit of a problem with these cars is they're adolescent crows. When they get older, they tend to pair off and have a family, but you get groups of young ones that go out in the urban areas here, find a lot of food quickly, got a full belly, then they decide to say, well, what can we do now? Just like teenagers. So they come in and cause a problem. Peck at anything they can.
Other solutions to a crow problem are as varied as they are bizarre. Some say hanging a dead crow, or a reasonable facsimile, will be enough of a warning. It's been observed by farmers that when they appeared with a gun, crows took off. However, a stick held in the same way, nothing. They seem to know the difference. So when you're dealing with a clever bird with eyesight far sharper than ours and an acute sense of smell, you've got to apply some real smarts to beat him. Birds, seemingly as intelligent as people, watch our movements very closely. We're a potential predator after all. But there's more to it.
50 years ago, you were lucky to see a crow in the suburbs. Today, they're everywhere. And it's not just here, it's all over the world. And the main reason is because over the last few years, suburbia has exploded everywhere, creating an ideal habitat for these creatures. And they just love it, especially our wasteful society.
We've cleaned up our act at picnic spots by providing trash cans, but that just concentrates a food source for scavenging wildlife. This goanna's eaten his fill of scraps, but has other problems. After tipping the can over, he makes a slow escape, all caught up in a plastic shopping bag. The local birds, including crows, signal their displeasure at this littering interloper. The crow's favourite meal seems to be roadkill. This time it's a dragon lizard that fell victim to man's progress. One lizard's misfortune is another crow's banquet. Crows don't have the monopoly on getting up people's noses. At breeding time, the magpie can become live missiles, seemingly afraid of nothing. That's next on Killer Instinct.
Now, this is another very well-known urban bird of prey. It lives in every city and every town. it's called a magpie. Now apparently the mag is to do with the song, and the pie is because black and white is pied.
You might think humans have not a lot to fear from this bird. We are hardly a food source, but we do pose a potential threat. It may all be in the bird's mind, or is it just instinct?
Now, they're a fairly well accepted bird, except during the month of September, breeding season. During that time, the parents will defend their nest vigorously. And people do come to grief.
This annual onset of aerial mugging is taken very seriously by both perpetrator and victim.
Magpies attack people for a whole lot of reasons, but we think the main reason is that they really are convinced that the people are getting too close to their precious eggs and their chicks. And so they're only almost all of these attacks occur while there's chicks in the nest.
Spring is typically when breeding season is in full swing. Firstly, the magpie mother builds her nest. If last year's model is in good shape, she'll make a few repairs and get on with egg laying. After 20 days of incubation, the chicks have hatched and are demanding food.
Magpies live for a very long time, probably 20 years at a minimum for an average magpie. And for that period of time, a very intelligent bird like this can actually remember lots of people that have gone past.
A magpie territory can cover 8 or more hectares out in farmland. That's around 20 acres. But the urban magpie territories might be as few as 5 blocks of houses. Tribe density grows with availability of food. A primary magpie territory in a suburban location can include many backyards, a shopping centre, a park, even a school. Kids on bikes are common magpie targets.
This is one of the schools where magpie attacks happened in the spring. To get around the problem, they just shifted the bike racks. Brought the kids in a different way. Simple.
But it's hard to move your home. When the birds go on the warpath, residents try anything to protect themselves.
We think very much that some of the people that are being attacked, probably a majority of the people are being attacked, are actually people that have done something to that magpie in the past to make it think that it's a threat.
A hat or helmet, especially one with eyes on the back, is one solution. The theory being if the magpie thinks you're looking at it, it won't swoop. Well, that may not be the perfect plan, but umbrellas work fine for some. Others prefer a more creative and individual approach.
Probably the most dramatic thing that magpies do is they attack things like possums and even koalas that have climbed into their nest tree, just inadvertently got too close to the nest with the chicks in it. And many of these animals end up with blinded. They will be attacked so viciously that they end up blinded.
The good news point is only 10 or 12% of the birds actually do this. That then gives the others a bit of a bad reputation. People wonder why. Well, it's probably just like people. Some are cranky and some aren't. And the cranky ones do it.
Whatever their reason, the magpie has literally carved an indelible place in our suburbs. But their beautiful song goes some way to redeeming their annual misdemeanours.
A lot of people like these birds in their yards because they come down and eat the insects that abound in their gardens. So they're really a helpful bird in the backyard.
Next, we'll discover why the butcherbird got his name, and later meet the amazing Birdman of Australia. We've seen how urban birds of prey can be a nuisance. But there's a growing trend that sees many people embracing the call of the wild and welcoming all kinds of birds to their homes. Balconies fitted with feeders, special viewing platforms, and plenty of planted or retained nesting trees are all a curious reversal of urbanisation.
In fact, in this city, research has shown that 40% of the inhabitants have a bird bath and feed birds in their backyards.
So for Rob, it wasn't hard to find some of those bird lovers. And it's not just the pretty seed eaters everyone wants as house guests. Many like the carnivores, even the fearsomely named Butcherbirds. But there's always something to learn.
So are they territorial? Or
Oh yeah,
they are.
So you're probably getting a family group.
But the babies seem to go away.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
parents
they
usually
never come
chase them
back.
anyway.
Oh, do they? Is that what
They're not like us, they don't let the kids come back.
Yeah.
A lot of people feed a lot of birds in the city.
Well, last year we used to have sulphur-crested cockatoos used to come and they'd land up here and they'd make a little noise and say, I'm here, and they'd land here, and I'd put seed out for them in 3 little rows, and then they also wanted a bowl of water, and then they'd sit there and they'd eat their food, and I'd go and stand over here, and then when they'd finished they'd always go, ah, and they'd fly away, and they always said thank you.
You begin to wonder who's in the cage and who's free to roam the suburbs.
In the suburbs, we have people who feed the birds and people who fix the birds.
People like Trixie Benbrook devote their entire backyard and all their spare time to care for orphaned and injured birds, especially those hated crows.
So when somebody rings me and say they've got a crow down, I always ask them what colour their eyes are, and that lets me know straight away over the phone what age they are.
Trixie cares for, treats and releases over 300 birds a year. A full-time job that's a labour of love.
He's not doing what he should be doing, and when I watch him carefully, he actually has a little shake in the head. So there could be some other little problems there. But all his feathers are growing. That pied butcherbird was found on the road, had to drop wing. He's coming along quite well, so he's ready to go.
It's the one that they leave home.
I tell you what, if I find a kill, a fresh kill on the road, I usually pick it up and bring it home for the crows.
Taking it quite a step further is a one-of-a-kind self-taught bird surgeon, Len Burkhoff, treating over 800 patients a year. This bird whisperer has developed animal healing techniques they never teach in veterinary school.
Sounds good. All sounds good, eh? Might just want a good rest.
Len has given over his house, his life, to the unpaid care of injured birds.
We'll do something about this first, Rob. No worries. I have a little trick for that. Ah, you got a trick. This is just paper tape. We'll just round the end of his little beak. He can't bite now. Now this fella's got a fractured wing, and the fracture is right there. If you like to have a feel, you'll feel it moving. Yeah. Hold on that. Fold that
Nurse
over.
Robbie assists.
Now that's really unusual, Lenny. I've never heard of a milk carton being used as a splint before. Well, you can use a lot of things, but I find this quite successful. And why is that? Mainly because it's being plastic coated. It's got enough stiffness in it to act.
Using no more than a milk carton and twist ties, the kookaburra's wing is successfully splintered.
You can feel that, and it's not moving. Yeah. The biggest problem we have with broken wings is joints. And this method, you can keep that joint free. Now every day I can give this some physio. So I can prevent lock-up from calcium. And very inconsequential to the bird. He really doesn't know it's there. When you look at it, it's incredible.
Another satisfied customer. Next, the wise old owl. In reality, a cunning, remorseless super hunter.
These lorikeets are real city birds. They like the bright lights. You'll often find them roosting around well-lit fast food outlets, and they're not there for the fast food. They're there to try to stop becoming fast food for another bird doing very well in the city, the owl.
This barking owl has his huge eyes set on a tree filled with the bright, chattery lorikeets. The barking owl can take prey as large as rabbits and possums, and has been known to take birds up to the size of the magpie and tawny frogmouth, so a lorikeet would pose no problem. The attack is made. And although it's hard to watch such a beautiful tropical bird fall prey to the owl, this is nature's way.
This is one of what they call a hawk-faced owl, and it's crepuscular, which means it can hunt in the early morning and in the evenings as well. It's not strictly nocturnal.
Evidence of an abundant food source is everywhere. The barking owl has chosen his hunting ground very carefully, in close range of where many families enjoy their evening meal. The owl survives as best as it can to continue another day. He seems to relish every beakful. It's then you realise this too is a beautiful bird, taking his place in the crowded, paved forest of the suburbs.
Now, this incredible looking creature is one of nocturnal urban birds of prey. It's a barn owl.
Worldwide, there are more than 200 species of owl, and they're divided into barn owls, which have this typical heart-shaped owl face, and hawk owls. In Australia, there are 9 owl species. Most are country birds, but a few make their home on the outskirts of cities. The barn owl is a superbly equipped raptor. Included in its arsenal is the stealth adaptation of silent feathers.
Now, it not only flies silently and has excellent nocturnal vision, this round disc face that it's got isn't there for looks. Barn owls have been using space-age technology to find their food for millions of years. Very much like this radio telescope behind me at Parkes in New South Wales. Now, the face of a barn owl is shaped very similar to that dish up there, which turns its ear to the sky to listen to the galaxy. And this smaller parabolic dish behind me can effectively show us how the barn owl collects its sound. 65 metres over there, or 70 yards, is another parabolic dish. I'm going to send my friend a message. Any rats or...
No, there's no rats or mice down here, Robbie.
That's no good. We're going to go hungry, aren't we? Works real well.
Owls have extraordinary eyes. They can see objects in 3 dimensions. There are 3 eyelids on those huge eyes, one each to take care of blinking, sleeping, and to clean and protect the eye's surface. To see in other directions, the owl must move its entire head, and it does this on a very flexible neck of 14 vertebrae, twice as many as humans. This wide range of movement is necessary to accurately locate their prey using their acute hearing.
And the reason for that is one of its ears is higher than the other. One's higher on one side than the other, so when the sound comes in, it can pinpoint it.
Amazingly, the owl's brain calculates the minuscule difference in the time the sounds reach each ear.
It's got a lot of things on its side when it comes to the killer instinct.
An owl's hunting territory is located away from the roosting site. Technique varies according to species and what they're chasing. Small mammals can be eating dinner one moment, then become owls' dinner the next. But with ground mammals and reptiles, many owls will choose a perch and wait it out. These intelligent birds can also make loving pets.
Woof, woof. Woof, woof. Woof, woof. Woof, woof. Woof, woof. Come on. Come on. Woof, woof. Come on. Come on. Come on. Woof, woof. Come on. Woof, woof. Woof, woof. Come on. Now this little fellow's a barking owl. It would have to be my most favourite owl. This poor little fellow actually lost his mate to a carpet snake not long ago, so I come in every day and talk to him and give him a little pat to console him and give him a rat. Obviously, the barking owl comes from the noise it makes. Barks like a little dog. You might also notice when he goes down and bites the rat, he'll close his eyes. That's just like the crocodile. He's got to protect his eyes in case the thing can still scratch or bite. And since he lost his mate, I like to give him a little bit of comfort. Boy, what a mouth he's got. You wouldn't think he could swallow something that big. He's got washing his face now. Don't want to stand on me, eh? Oh, that's nice. Oh, isn't that nice? Oh, yes, he likes that. Even owls like a bit of a scratch on the head, not just the cocky. Oh, yes, he says, oh, yes. Yeah, mate. See you later.
Coming up, butcherbirds on the hunt and the most amazing disappearing act in the bird kingdom.
It's a lesser, well-known urban bird of prey. It's a tawny frogmouth. Now, the reason it's called a frogmouth is because the big wide mouth looks like a frog's mouth. Anything that fits down that throat, it can swallow. Frogs, insects, lizards, anything like that. Now, some people call him an owl. He's not an owl. In fact, I would call him a nighttime kookaburra. Now, he lives in most urban backyards, but because of his cryptic nature and perfect camouflage, and the way he sits in the tree, he's almost impossible to see.
This may go some way into answering the question, where do nocturnal birds of prey go through daylight hours? This tawny frogmouth stays in his tree and looks for all the world like another branch. His feathers superbly mimicking the rough textured bark next to him. He even has a tuft of feathers on his head resembling a broken branch.
There's a frogmouth in this tree, and I'm going to climb up and see how close I can get to see how he relies on camouflage.
The tawny at first holds his ground relying on his stealth, but when Rob gets too close, he makes his exit to a higher branch. Amazingly, the butcherbirds and noisy miners in the same tree only see him when he moves. Then they complain. Birds have adapted to urban living very well. This curlew hen and 2 chicks seem quite happy to tolerate humans and survive near this major hospital. These moorhens also make good use of the fountains and lakes in park gardens they call home. But city living for many birds, like humans, can be dangerous. From natural predators like this intrusive water python to man-made dangers.
Frogmouths love the suburbs, and that's because of the street lights and the insects they attract. The biggest problem they have, though, is the motor car, because they hunt on the roads.
This tawny frogmouth had a close car encounter and sustained a broken leg. Rob instantly knew the person to take her to, Len Burkhoff.
And we've got dilation. Heart rate's good, and the breathing is nice and clear.
And why don't you use a stethoscope, Lenny?
Because I can't hear anything with it. I've got one, but I never use it.
Yeah.
We haven't got a compound fracture, we've just got a nice simple fracture in there. We'll just put a little cast on that. Now the cast I'm going to use is another one that's a little bit unusual. Just the white I'm going to take.
And how did you learn to use the egg white?
Well, I first used it on myself when I sprained my ankle once out in the bush. There is a little bit of swelling there now. That swelling's good to have there because that will help hold the head in place.
Another patient.
Yeah.
And quick, that's what's so good about it. It's so
yeah.
fast. And the wings same, I can believe that.
And I don't have to worry about sticks like poking into the... I want her to be able to stand on her leg.
And does anybody else use this that you know of?
Yes, I've actually got a couple of vets using this system now on legs.
3 weeks later, the tawny is well enough to be released and resume a normal urban life.
Wherever you've got green grass, water and trees, you'll always have bird life. Now that black duck would have had at least 10 young. They're only a few days old already. There's only 3 left.
This is truly an eat or be eaten world. The butcherbird is up to his killer instinct ways with one of those slow black ducklings. He bites the head of his victim with his strong beak to kill it. Satisfied the prey is dead, he carries the bulky food parcel up to his butcher post.
It's called a butcherbird, and when it catches a small animal like a small duck, it'll fly up into a tree, jam it into a fork or against a thorn, and then tear it apart, actually butchering it to pieces.
As Rob said, he will anchor the kill in the fork of 2 branches, or even on a spiky bush or a barbed wire fence to allow the butcher to carve. But he finds the duckling's weight almost too much. He repeatedly drops his quarry. This butcherbird shows remarkable strength and endurance, taking the prey from tree to tree until he finds the best fork in a branch to wedge his meal and do his slaughtering.
We hear the laugh of the kookaburra and the melodious song of the magpie and butcherbird in our backyards every day. Yet most people are oblivious to the murder, theft and mayhem that surrounds us. Next time you're out there listening to that happy chorus, just remember there's a real killer instinct that's driving it.
Next up, it's going home day for many rehabilitated birds of prey. The birds of prey that share our neighbourhood may be noisy. They may be considered a nuisance or a downright danger at times. But we're still better off with them than without them. Crows are our best trash collectors. For 1 month out of 12, a few rogue magpies are a headache. The rest of the year, they clean up the lawn grubs and other annoying insects. Butcherbirds and owls make short work of rats and mice, vermin in anyone's book. But it's a tough life. Rob says what many of these bird carers know to be the truth, but don't really want to think about.
This crow was one of the lucky ones. Even though crows are the top urban bird of prey, they're no different to any other bird out there. Very few birds live past their first year of life, and none of them actually die of old age. Out there, you just get eaten. One bird becomes prey for another. That's just how it is.
Easing suffering and getting close to the creatures they love is the passionate work of many bird enthusiasts around the world. But then, there's always the time most rewarding for these amateur veterinarians: going home day. Back at Len Burkhoff's place, the bird whisperer, Rob helps prepare the birds who are well enough for release.
Noisy little devils, aren't they?
He's bit off a bit more than he can chew, but he is a real urban predator, this one, or urban bird of prey. Now, like the kookaburra is a kingfisher, this is also just a smaller kind, that's all. We'll let him go. Off you go, mate.
Once they get into that
Trees, it's not bad,
into the foliage, it's nice and it's heavy. Got a good chance then.
Seeing that these three plovers are brothers and sisters, the best way to let them go is just open the door and let them walk away.
It was also release day for Trixie's crows. In this Australian city alone, there are 365 species of birds, so Rob could study one bird every day for a year. But it's time for him to return to the bush, and just like the urban birds of prey, he may be a little spoiled by the city he now leaves behind.
As you can see, the killer instinct is alive and well in the city and suburbs. I'm Rob Breddle, and thanks for joining me on Killer Instinct. Home, James.